One of my favorite things about Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door was how the story split apart the happenings of Mario, Bowser, and Peach. Being able to control each of them was quite fun, but by far I enjoyed the Bowser sections the most. There was just something always super funny about Bowser, from his commentary about random NPCs to how he was always lagging behind. But unfortunately, Bowser's areas in the game are short and sweet. It isn't too long after starting them that we find ourselves back in Mario's shoes and we press on. But what if that didn't have to be the case? What if we could stay as Bowser? Well, in this video, we're going to tackle just that. And we're diving into one of the spookiest areas of the game to see what kind of mischief we can get into. Some of you might not know this, but alongside my glory days of stopping Goombas, I absolutely love playing first-person shooters with my friends. Which is why I'm excited to partner with Warface, which is now coming to Nintendo Switch for free. Warface has been played by over 80 million people around the world, and it's the first free military first-person shooter game on the Switch. Utilize more than 400 different weapons and attachments alongside 5 playable classes, including the newest class called the SED, which rolled out with the Warface Titan update. The SED is armored with a heavy machine gun and mows down opponents with ease, and its secondary weapon is a grenade launcher. This humanoid robot has incredible armor capabilities as well, but alongside these perks comes a major disadvantage when it comes to mobility and speed. Honestly, I feel like the Terminator rolling out here with my minigun, just shredding everything in sight. It's a lot of fun. So, the battlefield is yours for the taking, and you can join the fray for free while also supporting my channel. You don't even need an online Switch membership. Just click my link in the description below, and as a new player, you'll receive a Gorilla Skin Bundle, a VIP booster, and a tactical axe for starting out. And a huge thanks to Warface for sponsoring this video and supporting me as a creator. So, Bowser. Let's actually start off and talk about what makes him so different than Mario once he breaks out the constraints of his areas. Now, it will come to no surprise that navigating as Bowser through the normal world breaks the game pretty hard. Any kind of sequence breaking in Paper Mario does that. For those who watched me access Glitzville early on my second channel almost 2 years ago, you'll be familiar with how much the game actually breaks. The only difference is that Bowser is a bit worse. Starting off, most of Mario's functionality is inaccessible when we're loaded in as Bowser. Bowser cannot jump, so we actually have to utilize exploits and cheats to get him airborne. We'll be utilizing a Moonjump code to get Bowser moving and hopping around, but there's a catch to it. Bowser needs to be in free fall for this to work. The good thing is, we can achieve this just by lowering Bowser's Y position anywhere on the map. So if you walk off some stairs, he's technically in free fall for a frame or so. We can then utilize this to jump, but that only solves some of our issues. Bowser can generally open doors and talk to NPCs, but sometimes it doesn't have the best outcome. For example, due to Bowser's size, he often gets stuck when loaded into areas that are too small. This can be a pain in the butt to get out of, like when you get trapped in a house and cry in agony. Unfortunately, even though Bowser can go through doors, he cannot actually go through pipes. He also cannot transform through curses. What's interesting is that Bowser does have forms for these in the game, but they aren't official by any means. Certain animations actually utilize Mario's graphic, while others put Bowser into a giant sheet of white paper before folding him up. Even though Bowser cannot go through pipes, it is possible to load him into a map that does have a pipe entrance. This will force Bowser into a coming out of a pipe animation that normally cannot be accessed by standing on top of a pipe and pushing down. Bowser can still breathe fire though. So there's that. There's enough fire to go around for everyone. So now let's address something else. There are multiple kinds of Bowsers in this game. There's walk around, shoot fire, and socialize Bowser. And then there's run around, jump, and destroy things Bowser. The problem with our Rampage Boy is that he actually cannot move correctly if we move him elsewhere. He can run, jump, and ground pound, but he cannot move back and forth in terms of Z distance on the map. He's stuck walking in a straight line, and only the edges of the map can alter his positioning. Once we go through a door, he becomes Social Bowser again. I guess Bowser was just having a mood swing. So that's the basics. There's going to be more, but let's actually start our journey now. I'm going to basically skip to Creepy Steeple to save time, because on the way back, we're going to run into the same issues we'd have going forward. So Bowser makes his way from Twilight Town through the wilderness to Creepy Steeple. Now in terms of the dungeon here, it's not really too interesting as a whole. I should mention that if Bowser gets into a fight, Mario just spawns in this place during combat, and we become Bowser again afterwards. Not too exciting, but understandable. Besides trying to fit through doors, there's really only one big issue with Creepy Steeple. It's when all the ghosts swarm you. Because just like a Strider 7X video, Bowser getting swarmed by ghosts crashes Paper Mario. You can survive for a little bit as they pile on, but once they overrun you, it's game over. The game will just crash instantly because you're you're just a dino boy and not a plumber. Breathing fire doesn't do anything. You just drown in ghosts. Before exiting this room though, I do want to point out that Bowser looks really strange from behind. The way they pull off Bowser's animations in this game is super clever due to the layering effect that is used. His back foot is actually floating off the ground, and it becomes apparent when you flip the camera around. It's also pretty much nightmare fuel. Ugh. Moving on, we're now heading into the Tower of Doopliss. Now, I had issues utilizing the spring in this room to get up to Doopliss's area, so I used the freefall exploit I mentioned earlier to moonjump Bowser through the floor. First off, Doopliss's room is completely unloaded before you get up there. He's just chilling in the corner. But when you do break through the floor and yell surprise, the game actually doesn't stop you as he talks. Bowser is free to move around and breathe as much fire as he likes, and it's actually quite funny to see him pop in and out of frame as if he's photobombing Doopliss. But enough toying around here. We're here for one reason and one reason only. And first, we have to clobber this freak in the sheet to see what truly happens when Doopliss tries to body snatch Bowser. I should mention, by this point in the game is starting to fall apart a bit. You won't be able to hear it in this video, but the game audio would occasionally sound like dial-up internet trying to connect. Except, it was being blasted through a megaphone straight into your ear. It was absolutely awful. Anyways, after the fight, I expected to be transformed into a purple Mario. Either that, or I expected the game to just crash. But, to my surprise, Bowser was painted purple and spun around. He didn't have Mario's defeat animation, but he still looked duped. Unfortunately, Doopliss's appearance is only designed to reflect Mario's, so the game continues as normal. He grabs a crystal star and scrams with the partners. Or he would have, but Bowser has no friends. That situation is what led me to hunt him down, because Doopliss normally has some back and forth with your teammates, but we're flying solo this round with Bowser. So we pick ourselves up and move our purple people eater body down the tower, instantly getting stuck. So normally you'd be able to walk past the spring and just go down the stairs with Mario, but Bowser is too thick to make it through. Because we can't change our Y value, we can't initiate a moon jump either. So we're screwed. So to bypass this, we're going to warp past this part. Generally speaking, I do want to try to follow the path the storyline takes as much as possible, but I do want to avoid any hiccups caused by Bowser's bigness. Upon exiting the steeple, we are warped back to Twilight Town for a cutscene involving the Shadow Sirens. Something I find super interesting is that your character is always present in cutscenes they can't be seen in. The game just typically stores them way out of bounds beneath the stage. If you move your camera down to the void, you'll see Purple Bowser just chilling in the twilight. If we restore him to the actual map, it kind of spices up the cutscene a bit. There's just a big purple shadow looming in town. But I guess technically, there's a lot of purple shadows here. Swing back over to Creepy Steeple, Purple Bowser tries to unlock the gate and it opens. Regardless, we can't actually exit because of the usual sizing issue. So we need to use the train to launch us into a moon jump, similar to how we actually moon jumped into Creepy Steeple. But this is where we run into further issues with Bowser's size. So remember a few minutes ago when I mentioned we were going to skip over the way to Creepy Steeple? Well, let's talk about that briefly because now we're heading on back. When Bowser is in the background of the level, there are some places we come across that we can't move past simply due to Bowser's size. Warping from the foreground to the background, or in the opposite order, becomes problematic because of this. Bowser tends to get stuck often, and even if we initiate a warp across the map itself to the front, if you're coming from the background layer, that means your movement has now been restricted. You can only move left and right, and that's it. Also, Bowser is smaller, which is weird, but I guess I get it. There's also the issue of a foreground/background pipe too, and Bowser's inability to use them. Through a series of loopholes and other exploits, because honestly it would take another few minutes to explain Bowser getting stuck everywhere, eventually we can make our way back towards Twilight Town. But unfortunately, we come across something quite grim. Upon entering the area where Doopliss ambushes us, our quest ends. Doopliss barely gets a few words out before the game just completely crashes. Mind you, things weren't looking good at all because this entire time, it felt like the audio was going to explode from the game. At first my theory was that the game crashed maybe because I had no partners, but that doesn't make any sense since you wouldn't have partners anyways. Even trying to force one to load is a no-go. Doopliss never gets his chance to pop out of the background, and everything I did still resulted in the game crashing. If we try to bypass this area and skip the Doopliss encounter, we will find ourselves in Twilight Town with the Shadow Sirens music playing, but there is no Vivian to be found. Basically, we're stuck in limbo. If we try advancing the sequence manually, the game just crashes when Vivian makes their appearance. So regardless of what we do, Bowser's big purple adventure meets an untimely end when we make it back to Twilight Town. His death was in vain, but we will always remember him. But now that I've told you all of that, I hope you enjoyed this bizarre adventure. If you aren't subscribed and liked this video, consider subbing. And with that, thanks for watching, guys and gals, and until my next video, cheers.